My name is Mirna Bamieh, and my work revolves around politics of disappearance. My mediums are usually food, performance, ceramics, and mostly installations. There's always a video component in the installations I make, and lately there's always a fermented aspect added to this.
Open your mouth. Take a bite.
بلف على الشمال. Take a bite of pleasure. One that will slowly take you out of time. برا الوقت.
The piece I'm working on at NIKA project space is a series of interventions and installations. They are all under the umbrella of Sour Things. Sour Things looks at occurrences, relationships, cities, time, transformation, but all through the lens of my experience, but as well the personal and how it connects with the collective, which is the Palestinian experience, the female experience, and the universal experience. Sour Things, like its name, it's about things that makes us sour, the time and how it leaves its imprint on us, and the things that we go through that are sometimes out of our control, that renders our face sour, our breath sour, our soul sour, our body sour. And I find fermentation a perfect medium to convey that for the writing, for the making of ceramics, and for the whole installation. At NIKA Project Space, we're creating a kitchen, Sour Things Kitchen, and its installation with video and a soundscape that combines everything together. The act of ingesting, digesting, and how time sometimes makes us not easily able to process things. There's lots of figurines, lots of figures, there's madness in the kitchen. The kitchen is one part of Sour Things project. The first iteration was commissioned by Sharjah Foundation for the Sharjah Biennial 15, so it was Sour Things the Soup. And it was in an old vegetable market from the 70s. And as well, it reflects on transformation and decay, especially that the location was an old vegetable market that was preserved from the 70s to now. New iterations that I will be developing are Sour Things the Pantry, Sour Things the Table, Sour Things the Bed, Sour Things the Luggage, Sour Things the Washroom. So they all together make one space, one home. And one part of my practice that I've been experiencing or choosing willingly and sometimes unwillingly is the nomadic aspect of my mode of making work and the nomadic mode of my art practice. I move a lot, although I have a beautiful apartment in Ramallah, but I'm rarely there. I'm constantly on the move, and to have a ceramic practice while being nomadic, I think leaves its imprint in the pieces that I make. So somehow Sour Things is this stable home that I'm slowly building, and the kitchen is the first part. As a chef, as a cook, it's a very intense and a beautiful space that I express myself through, and not only in my art practice, but as well in my cooking, in the dinner performances that I make with Palestine Hosting Society that revolve on collecting recipes that are disappearing. And that's one thread in my practice, disappearance. The disappearance of the landscape when it comes to Palestine, the disappearance of recipes and why they disappear, the disappearance and withdrawing of stories, of narrative, of people even, of parts of ourselves that leave our body with time and those that come back. That's why when I say politics of disappearance, it's quite entangled, and it's a topic that I've been obsessed about since I started my art practice, which is I think 15 years now. And still, it's a fascination, and I'm still developing this. My inspiration for my practice, and specifically for Sour Things, which is the project that I'm fully focused on now, is basically my life. My art practice is the priority, the main, the way I live life. And to have that translated into my art practice is just the primary thinking of doing that. I have different mediums, quite a multidisciplinary artist in the way that I express myself. As I said, the inspiration is life, and life translates for me through text, writing. That's why there's a soundscape, With sour things, there's the inspiration that translates itself into objects, into ceramic pieces that do not change with time. There are translations that happen through ferments that are constantly changing and developing, sometimes decaying, which is a major part of my reflection and translation into occurrences. Somehow Sour Things was born in the UAE with the first iteration in Sharjah and now the second iteration in Dubai, to come from a place that has so much history and so much root and so much negotiation on space as a background, like that's my background as a Palestinian, and somehow to produce those pieces, to actually give them form in the UAE, I think gave me the distance that I needed. And sometimes distance is what you need to express. That's why I write my text in English, because I need that distance from language, my mother tongue, Arabic. And I think Dubai and UAE in general is giving me that distance so I can reflect more on materializing all that load that has been building up. The piece does not start with the production. Actually, there's a line that goes through years back before it materializes. But the moment of the space, that moment of actually installing a piece is always site-specific. And I think that distance the UAE is giving me, because it's constantly changing, and I reflect a lot on transformation and change and the passing of time. I think it leaves its imprint on the pieces that I create. Once I start installing another Sour Things outside UAE, I think I will be able to understand how much being in Dubai actually contributed to the decisions I was making in installing the piece.